Well, hello and welcome to another breakout session. This is breakout session number 51. We're calling this The Blues is Simple, but It Ain't Easy. Okay, this will be a quick one. Before I get started on this, I want to say hi to all the Guitar League members around the country that might be watching. I hope everything's going well for you guys. And then anybody that hasn't subscribed to my channel, I wish you would do that. There's a lot of material up here on the channel. There's the breakout sessions. We've got some amateur luthier things. We've got learn a new song in 4 minutes. We've got cover songs. You name it. If you're brand new to guitar, I've got a whole rookie beginning training course for you, and everything's free. So if you just subscribe, hit the bell. We'll notify you when something comes up, and if you like it, please hit the like button because that helps. So today, like I said, it's a short one. It's just a little bit about the blues. And don't roll your eyes, because the blues, like Muddy Waters said, the blues had a baby and they called it rock and roll. The blues is kind of the beginning of a lot of kinds of musics. And so it's good to learn it. It's like learning the basics. Also, it's connected with jazz, it's all over the place. But it's a simple concept, but it's not easy. And the older blues guys, they just, counting, 12 bar blues, 13 bar, 11 bar, 10 bar, 7 bar. It was whatever they felt like doing, okay? So they didn't stick to those straight things, but members of their own band knew where they were going all the time. And they just flat seemed to me to have a little teeny bit different timing. There's a great album out there, Howlin' Wolf London Sessions, where Eric Clapton he put together a band and he's playing with Howlin' Wolf. And they're talking on the record, and Howlin' Wolf is showing him how to count, how he's counting something in. And so I start counting with him, and I'm saying 4, like 1, 2. Whenever I go to the next beat, I'm about a quarter ahead of him. He's just like a quarter of a beat delayed, but that's what makes the whole thing work so well. And a lot of those guys like Clapton, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Keith Richards, they studied from those guys. So they've got that beat down just right, just that little swingy delay thing that they've got. So that's something to look at and try to figure out. But today I just wanted to do just a couple of quick little things that could be intros to old blues songs, and then some simple fingering for old blues songs. So for instance, I call this the Love in Vain turnaround. First of all, the intro to Love in Vain would, at least Clapton's version and Robert Johnson's version, would be using a A7 triad down here on the 9th fret, on the 9th fret. This would be an A chord, an A triad, with your A note being right there. And this would be an A7 triad. It's your D7 triad moved up here. That'd be A7. So an intro that you can use in any key, but we're going to start with A. I'll show you how to move it. Is this A1. And in the A1, you can play the A open A string as a bass string. And then you can go to the big A, where the A all the way to the 5th fret, you know that A? That's an A, that's an A7. This is a great fingering for blues. You can use that in just about any key, that fingering. So, again, you're taking it from Then you're going to do the Love in Vain turnaround. Okay? And I'm going to show you how to change this to any key. But right now, you're in A. And what the root note, the way I think of it, is on the high E string. And some people do this with their pinkies to start with, but especially down here, I do it with these two fingers to start. So I'm on the high A here, and I'm on the G note of the D string up here. And I'm plucking them both at the same time. Then I'm walking down, a chromatic walk down. And when I get to this part of it, I change fingers. And now I got my pinky here and my first finger here on the F note to the E note. So it's... And then this is, you're in A, but you're turning around. This is like technically an E turnaround. So you're going. You know, you're ending up on A, and then now you're going to go back to, you ended up on E, and now you're going to go back to A. So. A7, you can, you know, that's why this big A fingering is beautiful, because you can go back and forth between an A and an A7, which happens a lot in the blues, and you can do that on any in any key. Or like if it's going from the A to a D, you can go to a big D right here. To a D7. C. You know, be more like probably an E. Okay, so that turnaround, thinking that the root note is on the high E string, so that would be an A there, right? So if you wanted to do, let's say, an E, you're in the key of E, but you'd actually be turning around to the 5 chord, which would be the B. But you come down here to the E here, and you do the same fingering. That'd be a B there. So you're going from an E to a B7. Or, okay, so that's with the root on the bottom string, or the high E string, the thin one. Okay, if you could do the same thing with the root on the B string. Okay, so if you came up and you had the E note on the B string, and you put your finger up one taller now. So now you're up here in the C, C sharp, D. You've got a D note and an E note that you're holding with those two fingers. And you're walking that down again to a B7. So that would be if you're in the key of E. You're going, because now the E root is on the B string. Here the E note, you look at it with the E note on the E string. Same walk down. Different pitch, obviously. Okay? So that's just a very cool walk down that you can use, or turnaround, intro. It's like a million things. And this little triangle shaped 7 chord, we used it in an A situation to start with, but that could be anything. That could be, you could come up to a C. You know, this would be a C chord like that. This would be a C7 chord. So if you were in the key of C, you could put it in any key, is what I'm trying to tell you. And then one other quick, really cool, I think, dominant 7 triad is where you take a D-shaped chord and you move it up one set of strings. Just come right up. So this would be like, this would be a G-shaped, I mean a D-shaped G chord. If I move it up one, now it's a 7 chord. That's a B7 actually, but here, this would be an A7 triad. Just those 3 notes shaped like a D chord, and in the A, if you're playing in the key of A, you could obviously use an open A. Do that same kind of walk down, but this is a cool little 7th chord there. You know, it comes from this 7 chord right here, the big A7 chord, but you're just playing those 3 notes of an A7 chord. I hope you can see all this. I tried to pick a guitar that had big fret dots on it so you can see it. Okay? So that'd be, so you think of it like if you're trying to find it, right? You could think of the big 7 chord like this would be a G7, and if you just played those 3 notes, that's a G7 triad. And that comes in really handy when you're playing the blues, like these A7 ones, or this triangle one in this shape, or the triangle one in this shape. It really comes in handy to play the blues. So that was all I wanted to show you today, was that little turnaround. I call it Love in Vain. The little A7 shape, taking the D7 and bringing it up to wherever you need it. The root's going to be on the B string here. Like this would be a A major. This would be a dominant 7, A dominant 7. Okay, and then this one is a D shape, up one set of strings, like that's a D shape, moving it up here. Okay, so that's an F dominant 7 triad. So I hope that helps a little bit. It's not a long video today, but you've got a couple of things to work on and see if you can't get that blues timing down. I highly recommend, if you've ever get a chance to listen to the London sessions with Howlin' Wolf and Eric Clapton. Came out in about 1970. Fabulous album. If you like the blues, you're going to love that album. So I hope to see you in the next video, and remember, be safe out there.